I'm shifting closer and closer to you, and you're moving further away.
How about we do this from you? Sorry.
So have
Sorry. We're ready.
It doesn't bother me.
But this is just our vibe.
Yeah, crazy, insane.
Have you read Letterboxd reviews for the moment?
Yes, I have.
There's
How
a
do you feel
really
about
good
it?
one so far, which is Rat Swan was my favorite.
Rat Swan, we
Rat Swan.
love. There's someone who was like sat next to somebody who reached of cigarettes and had a really immersive experience, which I love.
Yeah.
There's some like really good like jokey
Gay criminals. There was a movie for gay criminals, totally.
which we love. Yeah, they're
getting it.
They're getting it.
They're getting it. Is what the takeaway.
Because Charli, your own cinephilia now is so well known. Like, how does that impact your work as a musician, and how has it sort of inspired you to make this move towards more movie projects?
Well, to be honest, like I've always been really, really inspired by cinema, like when making my music, more so than music, to be honest. Like I'm really not actually like a big music listener, to be honest. I have my like go-to things that I like to listen to, but generally speaking, I'm always sort of watching films to inspire my music, my writing, anything. So for me, it's like honestly just like an honor to be able to be like acting and working on projects and writing and producing films. It's just like kind of my dream. Like I just feel so excited by it.
Because Aidan, what was the idea that Charli brought to you that became the moment?
So Charli is an incredible writer. Obviously, we know that from her work in her music, but also, in longer form formats, Charli had been working on a kind of document that it's sort of, Charli sent me this piece of writing that kind of read somewhat like a kind of diary entry, but also outlined this, outlined the film in terms of the kind of tonal anchor of what we ended up doing, which was really kind of about how it felt to have worked half your life to achieve something and then be able to hold it in your hands, but then sort of instead of feeling like you'd arrived somewhere, all you could feel was that it was slipping through your fingers, you know? And I found that so, funny enough, relatable in many ways. You know, I don't have the experience Charli has had, but it's funny, it's such a human feeling to have.
Yeah, I think it's like the main kind of feeling and sort of thought in that document was this idea of like going through this transitional phase in your life, this big change in your life, where there is suddenly like a huge amount of expectation put upon you, and then like not really knowing how to deal with that pressure. And I think that is something that no matter who you are or what you do, like everybody kind of like arrives to that like moment at some point in their life. And yeah, and I think it's like the film is in a way like really about that, like this kind of like pulling between like these different like people and different expectations that they have of you and how you deal with that.
Because for you, how would you describe the character of Charli XCX that you play in the film as distinct from you, but also the stage persona that you've created?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the word persona, because that's something that I'm really, really fascinated by and always have been fascinated by. And I think more and more in life, everybody is kind of performing constantly. And I think, yeah, like there are different like versions of me. Like I would like to think I'm not as much of a monster as my character in the film. But I think the thing that is interesting about the film is like, I probably can be like that sometimes, you know. It's like I'm not the hero of this story, and I think so often, particularly in like pop music, it's like the version of the pop star that the audience gets to see is that sort of like final, like polished version, you know, and like that's mostly what I'm used to putting out as well. But I think the thing that was really interesting about making this film is like I kind of did want to expose the fact that actually, like, before you get to that place, there is this, like, really raw, like, vulnerable, messy, chaotic, like, ridiculous version of oneself that we all kind of go through to then, like, get to the final outcome. And, yeah, I think that actually is quite real. Like, it's quite real, and I think a lot of artists, creative people, like, go through that, like, very volatile phase before arriving at, like, whatever the final end game of their work is, you know?
Aidan, what was it like for you in making the movie and grappling with Charli and Charli?
Perfectly a phrased question, actually, because that really
fucking
is.
with you all the time.
No, yeah, I mean, it's as you said, it's like that distinction between the Charli I know and then the Charli that the rest of the world knows, and then also this fictional Charli that we were creating. Was such an interesting experience, and what we did is, as we sculpted the stories, Bertie Brandes and I, or my co-writer, we throughout the entire process, it was completely collaborative with Charli because we were constantly checking in to see, you know, if the decisions that we were making and the narrative that we were going on and the decisions that fictional Charli makes, we had to kind of understand that there is a version of Charli in the universe that could have made these decisions, you know, that with the right kind of pressure from this place, or the wrong set of circumstances, we would go down this path. And I'd say, you know, it is entirely fictional what we've made, but so much of the emotional truth of it feels very like grounded in reality, stuff that we feel, stuff that you feel.
Yeah.
And you know, there are conversations that in this film that feel so familiar to me, you know, and in many ways it felt really cathartic to write and cathartic to watch these people perform. And I think that was really important for us in terms of the success of this film was making it feel real, making it all feel spontaneous, making it all feel accidental, and that was the challenge of having a written script that then had to be presented as something completely unstaged, you know.
And can you talk about the decision to have this very much not be a concert film, that there really aren't, it's not as if there are live performances of your greatest hits. And what was it that you wanted to do in not making that kind of film?
I think it's just like a totally different medium, which I think, you know, I think we just were interested in really kind of like narrativizing my experience in a way that a concert film, you know, just wouldn't have allowed us to do. And I think we just wanted to explore kind of all of the fuckery.
Yeah.
You know?
It felt exciting.
You know?
It felt exciting to be able to do that thing and hit on something that we like knew about and we felt was real. You know, that you just wouldn't be able to get in a concert film. And you know, the Charli's live shows. I don't know if you could bottle that. It was I was so good. I was there. Bloody millions of them.
Well, thanks.
I was doing this, I putting people on my shoulders, that kind of thing. It was great.
I don't know. I think we felt really inspired to like tell this story about like the kind of like grapplings of when you have everything and then you kind of don't know what to do with it and you're gonna probably lose it. You know, it's like I think we wanted to really talk about that because I think it's just something that we kind of really related to, so I think that's why we went in this direction.
And do you intend for this film to kill off the Brat project and clear the decks for whatever comes next?
I mean, you know,
Sort of felt like
it's a nice end, isn't it?
yeah, good button on it. But more than anything, I think it was a fun reflection. It was a fun, like almost like you know, it was weird and interesting and cool to be able to reflect on something that was happening in real time and sort of process it by fictionalizing it. So in many ways, it was, you know, it's for everyone, but it was also for us to kind of, you know.
And I think it's interesting right now to kind of like talk about like the lifespan of art. You know, I find that to be quite an interesting conversation, especially in this kind of time of like more is more is more is more. I find the desire for more interesting. Like why do we want things to live forever? Like why can't we just like end things on a high and then just cut it off? Do you know what I mean? I find that that like a really interesting dialogue. You know, so I think that's kind of a part of this for me, like exploring that.
Totally. I mean, like Charlie's spoken about like the tension of sort of staying too long, and actually the timing of this film coming out. I mean, it comes out in less than a week now. It comes out on the 30th, and
we're like,
I'm like, but it's really exciting to be able to share this with the world, but also for it to land at this time when, you know, it's sort of, you can feel the tension of kind of, you know, Brat came out, what, 2.5 years ago now? No, sorry.
Fucking decade ago.
30 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So it's fun to play with that, you know, the timing of that, and it feels like this sits in the kind of landscape of culture, I think, in an interesting way, you know.
And then there are a couple of just really compelling and convincing dramatic scenes in the film. You have this kind of meltdown in the back of a car, and there's a couple of really compelling phone calls. And what was it like for you to perform those really dramatic moments?
I mean, it was, I think cathartic is probably a good word to use there, because I've definitely been in those circumstances, you know, and
you were really ill when we were in Ibiza.
oh God, I was so ill when we
Really
shot
ill. And you had to
in
scream.
Ibiza, and I had to scream, and then the cutting off the hand. Oh my God!
Yeah,
I was so sick.
I
was
felt
so
evil.
sick.
I felt
you
evil
know?
asking you to do another take.
Yeah, I was like, I can't scream anymore, you know. But no, it was. I've been there, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
did feel very, cathartic, and I think it's like there is a lot of pressure in those situations, and I mean, I don't mean like performing the scenes. I mean when I have been in those situations in my real life, and so I definitely had a lot to draw from.
Yeah.
And so at Coachella last year, you name-checked a lot of filmmakers. 2 of them, Paul Thomas Anderson and Joachim Trier, were just nominated for Oscars. So can I ask, what directors do you have your eye on now?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm very excited to see the new Chris Borgley film. I'm really, really excited for that. I mean, I think I'll sort of always have my eye on Trier. Like, I'm just such a huge fan of his work, and obviously PTA. I mean, I'm really excited for Ruben Östlund's new film. I mean, he was kind of a big.
You love your Scandies, don't you?
I love my
Oh,
Scandies.
there's a theme. There's a theme.
I do.